فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما هم في شقاق.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، شر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، كل بدعة ضلالة، كل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد، فنكمل إن شاء الله ما بدأناه البارحة، وهو العيش في بلاد الغرب أو أحكام المعيشة في بلاد الغرب للمسلمين.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار على سبيله إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. So again we wish to thank Shaykh Al-Mus'abi for for continuing what he started yesterday regarding these ahkam, regarding Islam, and also giving us the time that he can spend with us to discuss with us certain ahkam of Islam. So as for the Shaykh Hafidullah, Shaykh Anis, that he started out today's lecture by starting with Khutbat al-Hajjah, which includes concerning the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and testifying to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also testifying that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the prophet that he mentioned regarding that not the one who's guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there's none that can misguide him, and the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misleads, then there's none that can put him on the right path. Then the Shaykh said, as for today, that we'll continue what we had started with yesterday regarding discussing certain matters regarding ahkam, regarding the ahkam, the rulings pertaining to living in the West.
المسألة الأولى هي مسألة المعاهدة أو أحكام المعاهدة مع غير المسلمين.
So as for the first of those masahid to be discussed, the Shaykh mentioned, Hafidullah, is regarding those masahid or those matters that relates to having some form of covenant or agreement with others, meaning from non-Muslims.
المعاهدة تنقسم إلى قسمين: معاهدة دولة مسلمة مع دولة غير مسلمة، أو أفراد غير مسلمين مع دولة مسلمة، أو ثالث أيضا أفراد مسلمين مع دولة غير مسلمة.
So as for this matter regarding having covenants and treaties with others, then Shaykh mentioned that they fall into, they mentioned one, the first category is regarding covenants and agreement between one state, a Muslim state, and a non-Muslim state. Then we have also agreements or covenants regarding concerning that individual with a state. So we have by way of the individual also with a state.
فالأصل في المعاهدة إذا وقعت أنه يحرم نقضها أو يحرم الغدر والخيانة فيها.
So as for these covenants and treaties that may occur between in whatever these treaties, that the root of this, the asl of it, the premise of this is that one should honor this and one not to break this type of contract as seen as a form of the person that is being gone against and breaking whatever treaty that he had with others.
لأن الله عز وجل قال أوفوا بالعقود وقال إن العهد كان مسؤولا.
So as mentioned by subhanahu wa ta'ala, the English rendering awful, that you should honor your treaty, you should honor your agreements, and that you should fulfill whatever treaty that you may have.
فيحرم الخيانة والغدر إلا إذا تضمنت نقض بند من بنود المعاهدة أو ما حرم الله سبحانه وتعالى.
So also the person with this, if the person has any form of treaty or pact, covenant with others, then it is haram for the person to break up this, and for the person to be treacherous regarding these things and to be dishonorable.
وكان من أشهر صفات نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم
And of the most renowned of the Prophet's description,
أنه لا يغدر ولا يخون.
That whenever he would not per se break his covenants.
ولذلك هرقل لما سأل أبا سفيان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هل يغدر؟
So when Abu Sufyan he asked Prophet Islam
هل يغدر؟ هل يخون يعني؟
and can you be treacherous to others?
فقال لا.
Then he told him no, meaning not honor your covenants. He told him no.
وأبو سفيان في وقتها كان مشركا لم يسلم.
And at that time, that Abu Sufyan, when he asked this question, he was then a mushrik, not a Muslim then.
وكذلك أتباع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يغدرون ولا يحكمون.
And also the Prophet Islam, that his companion, the companion of the Prophet Islam, also that they were known to be people who didn't break off their promise and also act treacherous towards their covenants.
وقد تقع المعاهدة بين دولة مسلمة ودولة غير مسلمة.
So you might find a covenant, a treaty between a Muslim state and a non-Muslim state.
وقد تعتمد الدولة الغير مسلمة على دولة أخرى. وقد تعتمد الدولة المسلمة على دولة أخرى على دولة أخرى مسلمة.
So you might find that you might find that one non-Muslim state may break their covenant with another non-Muslim state.
فلو اعتدت الدولة الغير مسلمة على المسلمة.
So you find that a non-Muslim state that it was to oppress another Muslim state or.
فلا يجوز للدولة الأخرى المسلمة.
So it is not for another Muslim state
التي بينها وبين الدولة غير المسلمة عهد
that is between themselves and that non-Muslim state that they have a covenant between themselves, a treaty between themselves.
أن تنقض العهد وتساعد المسلمة.
That they should dishonor or to break that treaty, so as to assist that Muslim state.
قال الله عز وجل وإن استنصروكم في الدين.
And also mentioned that, and if you were asked to go forth in your deen.
ثم أمر بالنصر قال إلا على قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق.
Then he mentioned regarding you should assist each other. They mentioned that if between you and others is a treaty.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
and the Prophet Islam
عاهد قريش بصلح الحديبية.
That he had a covenant between himself and Quraysh, a treaty and a pact between them in Hudaybiyah as it referred to.
وكان من بنود الصلح
and that of the agreement
أن إذا أسلم رجل من قريش أن يرده النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إليهم.
And if any from Muslim was to accept Islam from them, then for him the Prophet Islam took of the agreement that he should return them back to their people.
وطبق هذا العهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So the Prophet Islam that he honored this and he complied with this.
مع أن العاطفة تقول أنا لا تطبق.
We find that the emotion may say that we should not comply with such an agreement.
لكن ذكرنا البارحة أن العبرة بالدليل الشرعي الكتاب والسنة.
So as was stated last night in yesterday's lecture, that the concern is not that these matters they go back. The emphasis go back to what is mentioned in the Sharia, not according to our emotions.
وعمر رضي الله تعالى عنه قد سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وفي هذا العهد وكان رضي الله تعالى عنه غير راض عن هذا العهد.
So you found that Umar anhu, that when the Prophet Islam made this treaty with the Muslim, that Umar was not pleased with this agreement and some of the conditions. So he asked the Prophet Islam regarding some of these matters.
لأنه رضي الله تعالى عنه غلب شيء من العاطفة.
And the reason because Umar anhu, that to somewhat he was influenced somewhat by his emotions.
ولذلك كان رضي الله تعالى عنه يقول اتهموا الرأي ولا تتهموا الدين.
So he mentioned or said that Umar mentioned of his statement that you should accuse your own reasoning and not the deen.
لأن الرأي لا ينتج عن دليل قد ينتج أحيانا عن عاطفة.
Because one's own view, one's own perceptions of things, that it may not per se fall in line with evidence, that is evidence-based.
ولذلك أيضا رضي الله تعالى عنه ذهب إلى أبي بكر الصديق.
So also Umar that also he went regarding his complaint also to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq.
وراجع أبا بكر في الصلح.
And
سأل
so he asked Abu Bakr regarding this agreement, this covenant regarding some of his conditions.
فكانت إجابة أبي بكر رضي الله تعالى عنه كإجابة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تماما.
So the response of Abu Bakr Siddiq was exactly the same of that of the Prophet Islam regarding how he responded to Umar and his observations.
فأبو بكر رضي الله تعالى عنه قدم الدليل.
So Abu Bakr that in his case that he put before him the dalil, he stand by the evidence.
ولم يقدم العاقبة.
And not per se that he allowed emotion to take precedent.
ولذلك اتفق المسلمون أن أبا بكر أعلى من عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه.
And it's been agreed amongst the Muslims that Abu Bakr that is of a higher degree than that of Umar ibn Khattab.
الأمر الثاني.
The next matter.
إذا كان بين الدولة المسلمة والغير المسلم عهد.
If between a Muslim and a non-Muslim countries that they have some agreement, treaties between themselves.
وكذلك يحرم الغدر بهذا المعاهد.
So it also is haram for one to be treacherous regarding their agreements and covenants that they may have.
ولو كان حربيا.
Even with a non-Muslim, even that person, one who's you are at war with him, you are at war with them.
إذا دخل بلاد المسلمين بعهد وميثاق فإنه يحرم الغدر به.
So if that person was to enter the Muslim country, then it is haram for the person to, you should not honor your agreement with them.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من قتل معاهدا فحرام عليه رائحة الجنة.
So the Prophet Islam, so the person should not harm that person who you have agreement with, even if they have entered the Muslim country and they are at war with you. And the Prophet Islam expresses that he even mentioned that the one who kills the person that you have an agreement with them.
فهذا دل على أنه لا يدخل الجنة وأنه في النار لأنه لا يتحدى الرائحة.
That the person who kills the person, the one that you have an agreement with, then you will not smell the fragrance of Al-Jannah. So it shows that it's something which is severe to be done with a person is not to smell of the fragrance of Jannah.
وكذلك لو دخل المسلم ديار غير المسلمين بعهد وميثاق فإنه يحرم الغدر بهم.
So also if the Muslim was to enter the lands of the non-Muslim by way of an agreement or covenant, it is not for him to act treacherous against them.
فيحرم قتلهم.
So it's haram for him, it's not permissible for him to kill them.
وتحرم أموالهم سرقتها واغتصابها.
And also for him to take their wealth by way of stealing and the likes.
ويحرم غشهم.
And also for a person to deceive them.
لأن هذا كله من شروط العهد والأمان.
So these are the person that is to comply with shurut regarding of amana, of trust that is entrusted upon him, and not to break them.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال المسلمون على شروطهم.
And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned in the hadith by stating that the Muslim are upon their agreements, the Muslim fulfill their agreements.
والآن صور المعاهدة أصبحت صورة عصرية مغايرة للسابق.
So he said that in contemporary times that they have these type of covenant is somewhat different from what was before.
فعندنا ثلاث صور تقريبا.
So she said they have three types.
طيب الصورة الأولى هو السفراء والبعثات الدبلوماسية. السفراء والبعثات.
So the first one is for those people. He said the diplomats. Those ones for the diplomats, people work in the embassies and the likes. Those diplomats.
فهؤلاء لا شك أنهم دخلوا بالمعاهدة وأنه يحرم غدرهم وقتلهم وسرقتهم.
So those ones also they are part of the agreement concerning the covenant, and also becomes haram, forbidden for one to harm them, to hurt them, and to be treacherous towards them.
الصورة الثانية هي حمل المسلم جنسية الدولة غير المسلمة.
The second type is a Muslim carrying the jinsiyah, the nationality of non-Muslim.
فالجنسية هي عبارة عن عقد بين الفرد والدولة.
So nationalization is a person having this an agreement between the individual, that person, and that state.
لها بنود ومنها يعني شروط ومنها أن تضبط الأنظمة وأن لا تغدر ولا تخون ولا تقتل.
So of the condition within this nationalization citizenship is that a person should not per se to arm others, not to be treacherous and the likes.
فيجب عليك الوفاء بهذه البنود ما لم تأمرك بفعل محرم.
So the person is to honor those conditions unless they ask you to do something which is not permissible.
هذا يعني واجب. وبعض الناس يقول أنا لم أكتسب الجنسية من جهتي.
So a person may say, I would not basically try to seek or to acquire nationality or nationalization from.
إنما من جهة والدي أو من جهة أنني من هذه الأرض.
So he says, no, it was something from either from my parents or from my parents or something that they have passed on to me.
فإن كان من جهة والدك فكذلك عقد أنت تدخل في عقد أبيك.
So even though it may not be from you, but if it's by way of your parents, it comes to you by way of your parents, then also you have to honor what your parents are supposed to honor, their condition, their contract.
والآن هذا موجود. الآن بعض الناس يستأجر الدار ويدخل في الإيجار هو وأبنائه من بعده إذا مات يذكر هذا في العقد.
So you might find, for example, some people may have a contract by way of rental, that they may rent or acquire a property by rental, and that will mean, and that the person even written right, that after him his children will take that responsibility and they are to honor it.
فالعقد واحد.
So any form of covenant then it is to be honored.
فيجب الوفاء به.
And so it is compulsory the person that he should honor and fulfill the agreement.
أما إذا أردت أن لا تفي بالعقد.
So the person wish not to
هل لا يوفي الشروط.
If the person wish not to comply with the condition of the covenant,
فأنت لست بمجبر أن تحمل الجنسية.
So you are not per se compelled, you are not forced that you have to acquire jinsiyah of others.
فيمكنك أن تسلمها لهم وتسافر.
So you can just travel as you wish.
ولا تفسد. ولا تفسد وتأخر.
And if you travel and not to is to push. I can't say. And not you can travel. You can travel as a visa and traveler's visa.
نعم. فالفساد والقتل محرمان بالكتاب والسنة والإجماع اللي هو قدر العهد.
So the person can travel, but not to harm and do injustice and kill of other people and create problems.
إذن كل من يحمل جنسية الدولة غير المسلمة وجب عليه الوفاء بالعقد فيما بينه وبين هذه الدولة إن لم يكن هناك محرم.
So if a Muslim has a jinsiyah, nationality of a non-Muslim country, then they should honor this agreement or the covenant between himself and that country.
المسألة الثانية والصورة الثانية.
The second type or case, third case,
من المعاهدات العصرية,
concerning of contemporary type of covenants that we have today that were not present before.
هو الدخول إلى الدول غير المسلمة بتأشيرة أو إقامة.
So the other case is regarding a person who wishes to enter into another country, a non-Muslim country, but by way of him acquiring a visa or permanent stay.
والتأشيرة والإقامة هي أيضا قائمة مقام العهد والميثاق والأمان.
So just as these visas that a person may acquire, also it comes with conditions and guidelines that a person is supposed to fulfill and to honor.
وعلى هذا العلماء.
So with this the ulama stated.
ومن نص على هذا العلامة الشيخ عبد المحسن العباد.
And of those who have somewhat have mentioned this specifically, amongst those ulama is Shaykh Al-Mus'abi, حفظ الله.
فيجب على من دخل إلى الديار الغير مسلمة أن لا يسرق ولا يقتل ولا ينهب.
So the Shaykh of the he mentioned that if a Muslim was to enter a non-Muslim country by way of visa, then he is not to steal, he is not to kill, but not to create so not to do of these things.
لأن الدخول بتأشيرة هو نوع من أنواع العقود والمواثيق.
So having a visa now to enter a country is one of the form of having a covenant or an agreement that is known.
ويحرم القدر بالعقود والمواثيق.
So the person should not betray this and not fulfill this type of covenant regarding the visa matter.
فلا يجوز لك سرقته وتقول أنه مباح المال.
So the person that says not that travel and then say it is permissible to take people's to take wealth.
فإن ماله محرم عليك بموجب العهد الذي بينك وبينه.
So by having this covenant or the visa, then the wealth it is forbidden upon you.
إذا هذا هو القسم الأول، يعني الحكم الأول أو المسألة الأولى في هذا هي مسألة عدم الغدر والخيانة بغير المسلمين إن كان هناك عهود ومواثيق.
So this is the first concern of those matters regarding concern of those matters relating to a deal with a Muslim, that if the person have any form of covenant or treaty with them, then the person should not be act treacherous and not to break off these agreements, but to honor them.
والعرب الأوائل
As Arabs before,
كانوا مشركين يعبدون الأصنام.
that the Mushrik, they used to worship false gods, and used to worship different type of gods.
وكانت تكون بينهم بعض العهود والمواثيق.
And between themselves, they used to have some form of agreement.
فيرى الرجل قاتل والده.
So a person might see someone killing his father,
فلا يقتله احتراما للعهد والميثاق.
and he would not per se intervene because of honoring that agreement.
إذا كان هذا المشرك يوفي بالعهد والميثاق، فكيف بنا نحن المسلمون الذين أمرنا الله بذلك؟
So if that person was to honor that type of agreement, then how about us as Muslims regarding our agreements and treaties that we have?
وأما هؤلاء الذين يفسدون في ديار الغرب،
So as for those who create problem and chaos in the lands of the non-Muslim,
فهم لا للإسلام نصروا،
and for them they haven't per se aided Islam in any way,
ولا لأعداء الإسلام كسروا.
and also the non-Muslim, they haven't per se do anything against them, they haven't harmed them.
وإنما غدروا وخانوا.
But instead, rather, what they have done is act treacherous and dishonorable.
والأقبح من ذلك أنهم ينسبون هذا إلى الإسلام.
And worse is that they kind of somewhat they attribute this act of them being treacherous and the like, they attribute this to Islam.
والإسلام لا يأمر بالغدر والخيانة.
And Islam doesn't command anyone that one should be deceitful and dishonorable, meaning not to break their covenants.
ولا يأمر بالفساد في الأرض.
And Islam doesn't command people that they should do evil in the land.
وكان الكفار قريش إذا فعلوا فاحشة،
and the Quraysh, if they were to do any type of evil practice,
قالوا والله أمرنا بها.
that is said to Allah, they would say, justify their action by saying Allah is the one who have commanded us to do this.
فأخبره الله سبحانه وتعالى قال إن الله لا يأمر بالفحشاء.
Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us regarding by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning English rendering, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not command you to do evil.
ومن أشهر أسماء نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم قبل البعثة الصادق الأمين.
And the Prophet concerned of his most honorable names that he was referred to before was that he was Sadiq al-Amin. He was a person who was truthful and trustworthy.
وكذلك هو بعد الرسالة أمينا صادقا صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And this was before his becoming a prophethood, and that continued even after prophethood and messengership.
ولم يؤمر أتباعه قط بالغدر أو الخيانة.
And yet Islam never once that he commanded his followers to do things which is treacherous and dishonorable.
إذن فكل ما يفعله هؤلاء هو فساد حرام نص الكتاب والسنة وإجماع أهل العلم.
So what these people are doing, it is clearly haram by way of nas, meaning book, and by way of the sunnah, and also thirdly by way of ijma.
الأمر الثاني أن أيضا ما يفعلونه هو أذى للمسلمين أنفسهم.
Also these people, now what they are doing also, it becomes also problematic even for the Muslim in these lands.
في هذه الأرض وفي غيرها حتى في دول الإسلام.
It says that it become problematic for Muslim, whether those who are within these lands and also Muslim even in the Muslim land, it become problematic for them and difficult for them.
لأن يخوفون الناس ويرهبون الناس من الإسلام وأن هذا هو الإسلام.
Because of this, that people become fearful of Islam and people start to run away from Islam.
ويبدأ الجميع بالتضييق على المسلمين.
And then you find that they start to make things that become difficult upon the Muslim. Restriction are placed upon the Muslims.
وأكثر المسلمين إذا ابتلوا نسأل الله العافية والسلامة استجابوا للبلاء.
So that most of the Muslims that they are tested, that if it's istijaba, that they will respond to the.
وشيخ الإسلام تيمية رحمه الله تعالى يقول أن أكثر الناس يموتون ولا يبتليهم الله سبحانه وتعالى بالبلاء، ولو ابتلاهم لا أجابوا للبلاء. يعني أكثر الناس يموتون في هذا.
Most people that would die, most people that dies
من المسلمين.
Of the Muslims.
والله سبحانه وتعالى لا يبتليهم في دينهم.
That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't per se test them regarding their deen.
رحمة بهم.
As a mercy upon them.
ولو ابتلاهم لا والعياذ بالله فتنوا.
And if that they were tested, then they would have.
لا فتنوا يعني استجابوا للفتنة.
Then they would have responded to the problems or to the problem.
وكذلك كثير من المسلمين يا إخوان حتى في بلاد الإسلام.
They find that many Muslim cases are like this, even the land of the Muslim.
لو ضيق عليه استجاب لهذا التضييق مباشرة.
That if things become restricted, that they would respond back to this.
ولربما خلعت المرأة حجابها وترك الرجل الصلاة.
Where in the sense of you find respond back to this in the meaning in the way of concern that women will start, some of the women, some may take off their hijab and the likes.
وكل هذا بسبب هؤلاء الذين يغدرون ويخونون.
And this due to what have been done by those who create fasad in the lands of the Muslim, that because of their actions.
وهم يعلمون أن هذا سيقع للمسلمين.
And those people, they can somewhat know, they are aware that this will occur or the Muslim would face this type of trouble.
لكن عندهم أكثر مسلمين كفار فلا يبالون.
But for them, those people, that for them, they see that most of the Muslim, majority of the Muslim, for them, they see them as kuffar.
فلا يبالون.
So they don't really care.
يعني أنا أضرب لكم مثال يعني.
The Shaykh said, I'll give you an example.
مثل المسجد الأقصى الآن حادث المسجد الأقصى الذي حصل.
So he says, no, what we found concerning what happened regarding Masjid al-Aqsa, regarding it being that they blocked the Muslim from its use of the masjid.
لا شك أن المسجد الأقصى من الأماكن المعظمة عند المسلمين.
So he said, without any doubt, regarding Masjid al-Aqsa, that is a masjid which is something which is it is held in a very high place with the Muslim.
لكن الواقع أنه في غير يد المسلمين.
But the present situation that it is not in the hands of the Muslim.
فذهب بعض الناس ونفذ عملية ليست لا فدائية ولا استشهادية، خطأ أن نقول استشهادية، لكن قتل بعض أو حاول أن يطعن بعض الجنود في المسجد الأقصى.
So you find that some of the people that they go and that they try to harm or to hurt some of the people, some of the soldiers around there.
من الطبيعي أن إسرائيل تقتل المسلمين وتغلق المسجد الأقصى.
So he says, now what it comes, we see the word natural, so it's a natural response to use the word, that from those people, the Jewish people who are there, that they would then in response what? Kill the Muslims.
الخطأ
And close the masjid.
خطأ الذين أعطوهم الذريعة.
So he said that the error is by those people giving them a justification to do this.
ونحن ضعفاء.
And we are the Muslim, we are somewhat at a state where we are weak.
هذا الواقع يا إخوان.
So he said this is the reality of what's going on.
استفزاز من هو أقوى منك لضرب وقتل المسلمين هذا حرام.
So it says also instigating those who are aqwa, those who are stronger to harm you, then this is something that this is haram.
فإذا كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يعني لعن الله من لعن والديه.
So the Prophet mentioned that curse be upon the one who curses his parents.
وقال كيف يلعن رجل والديه يا رسول الله.
So a person asked, how can a person curse his own parents?
قال يسب أبا الرجل فيسب والده.
So he said you curse your own parents by you cursing someone as parents, who that person in response would what? Curse your parents.
فأنت تسببت في لعن والدك ولذلك والعياذ بالله أنت ملعون. So
you are the reason for your parents being cursed by cursing someone as parents. So this is the response. This is why you are cursed.
فكيف إذا تسببت في قتل المسلمين؟
So how about you being a reason behind other Muslim being harmed and killed?
هذا حرام.
So this is haram.
وهذا فتوى الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله تعالى.
And so Shaykh mentioned there's something is haram, and this is in line with the fatwa of Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah.
وبالنص ذكرها في فلسطين.
And the Prophet and Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah regarding his fatwa is specific regarding the case of Palestine.
والشيخ الألباني رحمه الله تعالى
And Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah,
أفتى هذه الفتوى
when he gave this fatwa,
استنادا للكتاب والسنة لا إلى العاطفة.
that he was in reference it back to the book and to the sunnah, not based upon his emotions.
فهؤلاء العلماء الربانيون
So these ulama who are known, these great ulama, rabbaniyun, great ulama.
ينظرون إلى الأدلة الشرعية والمفاسد والمصالح.
So there's these ulama that they would look to matter regarding trying to bring about that which is, attain that which is good, and also to see how to block those things which is evil.
المسألة الثانية
The next matter,
هي حكم التشبه بغير المسلمين.
the next matter to be discussed is regarding the hukum regarding resembling or imitating of the non-Muslim.
أجمع أهل العلم على النهي عن التشبه بغير المسلمين.
So the ulama are in agreement that it is not permissible, by this agreement, that one should not imitate the non-Muslim.
لكن التشبه بغير المسلمين له مراتب ودرجات.
So as for resembling the non-Muslim, it falls into 3 levels or degrees.
أولاً ما هو ضابط التشبه؟
The first thing is what is the guide or the principle, the guiding principle regarding resembling the non-Muslims.
نص أهل العلم على أن التشبه المنهي عنه فيما هو من خصائص غير المسلمين.
So the ulama, they mentioned regarding tashabbuh, we said that tashabbuh is resembling or imitating, the non-Muslim, that ulama mentioned that the guideline of the guidelines is that regarding those things that are unique, specific to them.
فأما ما لا يختصون به ويشاركهم فيه غيرهم
So what is not
من المسلمين فلا يكون تشبها.
So what is not unique or specific just to them and maybe with others amongst them, then that is not within this matter regarding resembling and imitating them. So something that is not specific to them and others, are shared with others, then this is not classed as this.
مثال ذلك
An example of this
حكم لبس البنطال والقميص للرجال الآن.
is wearing a pants and shirt. Am I speaking fast? A little bit? Okay, I try to slow down because okay. Alright. طيب ماشي.
دائما يشتكوا منه حتى في لوتنا أنه يعني يسرع الشيء. طيب فحكم البنطال والقميص، لو جينا إلى البنطال والقميص الآن، هل هو من خصائص غير المسلمين أو أنه ليس من خصائص غير المسلمين؟
So the question is regarding, I'm trying to be slow. So the question is regarding that wearing of the pants and shirt. Now, the person wants to do this. Is this the person classed as resembling the non-Muslim?
إذا نظرنا إلى الواقع،
If we were to look at the situation at hand,
أن البنطال والقميص المسلمون الذين يلبسونه
that pants and shirt that is worn by Muslims,
أكثر من المسلمين الذين يلبسون هذا القميص.
that you find that you find more of the Muslims will wear pants and shirt than wearing of what we wear, thawb.
يعني تجد المسلمين في باكستان، في الهند، في كل الدول الإسلامية، تلك في تركيا، في مصر، في المغرب، في الجزائر، كلهم يلبسون البنطال والقميص.
So you find if you look at the Muslim countries, that majority of the people, the men, that they wear pants and shirts. If you look to different countries as mentioned, Pakistan, Hind, and these countries that were mentioned. Now, majority of the people wear pants and shirt.
لا تكاد تجد هذا إلا في دول الجزيرة العربية.
So you might find concerning this type of dress that we're wearing, a thawb as they refer to, that you might find that more so it is more that you find it is worn more in those Arab countries, states,
الجزيرة.
within the Arab peninsula.
لأن العرب الباقين لا يلبسون القميص والبنطلون.
As for the other Arabs outside this area, that they know that we see them wear pants and shirt.
فلذلك هذا لا يسمى تشبه الآن.
So this would not at this time be considered as a part of resembling, imitating the non-Muslims.
لأنه ليس من خصائصهم.
As it would be looked upon as not being something particular and unique to them.
لكن لو وجدنا لباس يختصون به لا يلبسه غيرهم.
So if we find a particular clothing that is only worn by them and no one else, unique to them only.
كما كانوا قديما مثلا.
As you may find before.
بعضهم يلبس الأزرق لا يلبسه إلا النصارى والأصفر لا يلبسه إلا اليهود.
So you might find certain colors or particular colors that they may be worn by them and no others will wear that colors from amongst themselves.
فهنا هذا من خصائصهم لا يتشبه به فيه.
So that color, if they wear a specific color and not worn by others, then this now will be classed as something unique to them.
إذا شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله تعالى والحافظ بن حجر العسقلاني قال أن التشبه إنما هو بما هو من خصائصهم.
So of the ulama, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and also Ibn Taymiyyah, that I've mentioned regarding concerning that things that are unique to them regarding clothing, or that will be considered to be of those things that will be deemed as thing which is specific to them, and that will be tashabbuh.
طيب نأتي الآن إلى مراتب التشبه.
So now we go to different degrees or levels of resembling, imitating them.
المرتبة الأولى
The first level,
التشبه بهم في أمورهم الدينية.
the first degree, the first level is imitating them regarding matter which is religious based,
كلبس الصليب
such as wearing of the cross,
أو الطاقية اليهودية.
or wearing the Jewish cap, skull cap.
هذه اختلف العلم فيها على قولين.
So the ulama regarding the Muslim resembling them in these matters, then ulama is off, they disagree in two opinions.
فمنهم من قال من فعل هذا كافر.
Some of the ulama is of the opinion that the person who wear of these things, then there is a non-Muslim.
لكن الصحيح أنه لا يكفر.
And what is correct, that the person has not left the fold of Islam. He has not left the fold of Islam.
إلا إذا لبس الصليب
Except if the person, in the case of the person who wears this cross,
أو الطاقية اليهودية
or this particular Yahud cap,
تعبدا
as a form of worship, as a religious worship,
أو تبركا.
or the person do it in a form of getting barakah, blessings,
فهذا لا شك أنه كفر.
then without any doubt, in this particular example, then that's an act of kufr.
لكن لو لبسها مجرد لبس
If the person wants to wear a cross, wear just as something to wear, just a general garment, something that they wear,
تقليدا لغيره مثلا
just imitating others,
هذا حرام.
then this become, as a wear as a fad, as wear as a type of dress fad now, then it become haram,
حرام نعم.
haram to be done.
لكن إذا لبسها على وجه التعبد فهو كفر.
But if the person, so that's haram, if the person was to wear it as a form of religious, in a religious way, then that becomes act of worship, then that becomes an act of kufr.
المسألة أو المرتبة الثانية
The next level, second degree,
أن يتشبه بهم فيما هو من خصائصهم
that to imitate them in something which is unique to them,
ولا علاقة له بالدين.
and it has no relationship with deen matters.
إنما مجرد اللباس
It's just something that is just worn,
أو الهيئة
or just out of appearance, look.
فهذا مكروه.
Then this is something which is disliked.
والمرتبة الثالثة
And the third degree,
أن يتشبه بهم في أمورهم الحسنة
and that you resemble them in something which is good, that seems good,
كصناعات
such as factory building, manufacturing,
أو طبائع حسنة
or thing which is natural things, normal things.
فمثلا المسلمون
For example, the Muslims,
كانوا لا يعرفون الاستنجاء الغسل بالماء في الاستنجاء غسل الدبر بالماء
so the Muslim before did,
الأعراب يعني.
the Bedouin did know concerning of istinja, clean up oneself with water.
ثم لما جاءوا للمدينة
So when they came, meaning the Arabs, the Bedouins, meaning the Bedouins, when they came,
حتى أهل قريش وغيرهم.
some Arabs, in some of the Arabs, even
لأن أصلا قديما يصعب حمل الماء معهم في كل مكان.
so they find difficult concerning having water in all over the place. It wasn't readily there.
فيستنجون بالأحجار.
So they used to make istinja, clean themselves with stones.
كما الآن في هذه الديار يصح الاستنجاء بالمناديل الورقية التي في الحمامات.
For example, like in this country that they use to clean themselves, that they use they use toilet paper.
فلما جاءوا إلى المدينة
So when some of the Arabs they came to Medina,
وجدوا اليهود يستعملون الماء في الاستنجاء.
so they found or saw the Jews that they were using water to clean themselves.
ففعلوا مثلهم.
So they did what they followed them in this.
لأن هذا أفضل.
Because they saw this as something being more preferred and better thing to do.
فلا حرج من الأخذ الأمور الحسنة منهم.
So there is no harm in taking things that is good, that they may be upon.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
And the Prophet ﷺ,
حفر الخندق
that he dug a ditch, dug a ditch
في غزوة الخندق
in the Battle of Khandaq.
والعرب لا يعرفون حفر الخنادق.
And the Arabs, it was not known to them regarding as a form of, in wartime, to use the use of trenches.
وإنما أخذوه من فارس.
And they kind of somewhat got this practice from those who were from the Faris, from the Persians.
وكذلك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
Just as the Prophet ﷺ,
لما أرسل رسائله إلى الملوك
that when he sent letters to the different kings, monarchs in different areas,
فقيل له أنهم لا يقرؤون كتابا إلا إذا كان مختوما.
that those kings, that they will not per se read a letter or take a letter unless it's something which is to have a seal.
فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اتخذ خاتما.
So the Prophet Islam, what he did, ﷺ, that he took a steel and a seal.
وعمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى
And
عنه
Umar anhu,
لما تولى الخلافة
that when he became the person in charge,
كتب ديوان الجند.
so he kind of somewhat wrote the guide.
يعني اتخذ سجلات للجنود.
So you have like what's the word I'm trying to find? Scribe, that word. A registry for the army.
وهذا أخذها أيضا قالوا من فارس.
And he said this was taken from others.
إذا التشبه بهم في الأفعال الحسنة جائز.
So the general thing is that for one to imitate them or to take from them those things which is good, then there's no harm.
والأفعال الحسنة
As for good actions,
كيف نميزها؟
how we can somewhat distinguish something is good,
التي لا يختلف الناس على أنها حسنة.
that to distinguish that something is good from, for example, from their practice, is a practice that is amongst them where no one disagree about it.
المسألة الثالثة
The third matter,
حكم استشارة غير المسلمين.
seeking consultation from non-Muslim, consulting non-Muslims.
استشارتهم طبعا ليس في أمور الدين وإنما في أمور إيش؟ الدنيا.
So this kind of seeking, consulting them on matters, seeking the use the word advice or consultation, which is not matters that relates to the deen, not matters that in relation to the deen.
إن كان يعلم نصحهم وصدق أمانتهم في النصيحة والاستشارة.
So if you know or believe that the person is known that is trustworthy and he's honest and he's of those qualities.
إن كان يعلم هذا فإنه يجوز له استشارتهم واستنصاحهم في الأمر.
So if you know the person trustworthy, honest and the likes, then it is permissible for the person that you can seek of his advice regarding certain matters.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قد استشار قبيلة من قبائل الجاهلية والكفار في صلح الحديبية.
So the Prophet ﷺ that he sought advice from some of the tribes regarding as-sulh, regarding the treaty of Hudaybiyah.
وأيضا صلى الله عليه وسلم لما خرج من مكة إلى المدينة مهاجرا كان دليله في الطريق مشركا.
So also the Prophet ﷺ when he made the hijrah, migration from Mecca to Medina, that the person that was his guide was a mushrik.
ولذلك لو قال لك الطبيب الغير مسلم أفطر فإن الصيام يضر بك.
So for example, if a non-Muslim doctor was to say to you that you should not fast, as if in fasting may be harmful to you,
فإن نأخذ بكلامه إذا كان ناصحا وثقة في علمه.
So one can take that doctor's advice if that doctor is said to be a person who is trustworthy, credible, and wants good and giving you good advice.
بقيت مسألة مهمة.
Also, what remains is a very important matter.
أشار إليه الشيخ الإسلام في اقتضاء الصراط المستقيم.
Where Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he kind of somewhat alluded at this matter in one of his books.
اقتضاء الصراط المستقيم.
اقتضاء الصراط المستقيم.
هي مسألة المسلم في غير الديار المسلمين. هل يطبق أحكام التشبه أو لا يطبق أحكام التشبه؟
المسلم في غير
بلاد المسلمين.
It's a Muslim that lives in the lands of a non-Muslim in applying matters concerning resembling non-Muslims.
أما في ديار الإسلام فقد اتفقوا على تطبيقها.
So as for applying this in the lands of the Muslim, then they agree about applying this and going through and doing these things in the land of the Muslim regarding not resembling them.
أما في غير ديار الإسلام
as for outside Muslim countries,
فقالوا تطبيقها بحسب المصلحة الشرعية.
so as for applying this, then it goes back to the masla, what is best in line with the Sharia.
فقال شيخ الإسلام إن كان موافقتهم في الهدي الظاهر.
So Shaykh Rahimahullah mentioned that if you can somewhat resemble them regarding those things which is apparent,
فإنه يستحب وستألفهم الإسلام وتعطيهم وسيهتدون الإسلام فإنه يستحب موافقتهم في الهدي الظاهر.
So if one can somewhat coincide in certain things which is of the apparent things that we can somewhat open their heart to Islam and guide into Islam, then okay.
يا إخوان لو تأملنا حقيقة.
But if we were to ponder over something,
الواقع الآن
the situation at the moment,
أن أغلب لباس المسلمين وغير المسلمين هو واحد.
That majority concerning how we dress, Muslim and Muslim, is somewhat very similar.
لا تكاد تميز بينهما في اللباس.
That Muslim and Muslim concerned to differentiate between them regarding how we dress is somewhat very close.
إنما كان ذلك في السابق.
But this is regarding what was previous.
وأضرب لكم مثال.
An example.
تعرفون هذا الطربوش اللي كانوا يلبسونه في مصر والشام قديم الأحمر، الطربوش الأحمر. طاقية حمراء طويلة.
It is a cap used to be worn in Egypt. That's somewhat a distinguished cap. I don't know.
It's a red cap.
Red.
أصلية تركية.
تركيا نعم.
Turkey?
هي أصلها من تركيا نعم.
Okay, so that red type of distinguished type of, that cap that they wear, or fez or whatever it is referred to as.
هذه أخذها الأتراك من النمساويين، أهل النمسا كانوا يرتدونها.
So that the church that they took it from other people. What from منهم؟
من النمسا.
النمسا
اللي قريب ألمانيا.
Austria. Austria. They took it from the Austrians.
فكان في ذاك الوقت يحرم لبسها لأنها تشبه بالنمساويين.
So that in that time it was considered to wear that would be considered as a form of you resembling them, and it was something then more distinguished with those people.
لكن تركها النمساويون ولبسها المسلمون في تركيا وفي مصر وفي الشام.
So you find that the Austrians, they left wearing that thing, and the Muslim in Turkey and other countries, that they start to adopt wearing this type of
فلا يمكن أن نقول هذا التشبه الآن.
So it becomes difficult to say that now fall into resembling those people.
أو نقول الآن يحرم لبسها.
Or we can to say that it is forbidden for one to wear of this.
إذن الألبسة والأردية بحسب ما يختصون به.
So clothing and dress is regarding what is unique or specific to them.
ففي بلاد غير المسلمين أنا حقيقة يعني ما أرى فرق بين المسلمين وغير المسلمين في اللباس.
So I said, as for the Shaykh said himself personally that Muslim and Muslim countries distinguish between dress for him not very distinctive.
لأني سافرت إلى دول إسلامية غير الخليج.
So if you go to the example, some Muslim country outside the Khalij area,
وكانوا في تلك الدولة الإسلامية,
like in those Islamic states,
يستغربون من لباسي القميص هذا.
That
إذا أنا لبست في القميص.
They find it somewhat strange.
يعني يستنكرونها جدا.
That they would make inkar for wearing this. They find something very strange and out of place.
وكلهم يلبس القميص والبنطال.
As most of them that they all wear pants and shirt.
وهنا في بريطانيا لم أجد أحد يستغرب هذا.
And the Shaykh said, when he comes to England, he doesn't find people this type of dress. He doesn't find that people find that something strange.
فأردت أن أقول أن لباس المسلمين الآن ولباس غير المسلمين غالبا الآن هو واحد.
So that's not what you find today, that what is said to be the dress of the Muslim and the non-Muslim, in most cases is something very similar.
إلا اللباس الديني.
Except for dress which is more, we say, religious type of dress.
كلباس الرهبان.
So people who are like the priests
أو القسيسين.
or the people who are would be the Jewish rabbi.
ولذلك لو فعل الإنسان بشعره هذه كاليهود.
I say find that that way they wear their braids. I say braids.
فإن هذا حرام.
Then if a Muslim was to wear the type of braid that they have, that becomes haram.
وإن تعبد الله بهذه الشعر اليهودية.
That the person was to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by wearing this type of braid.
فقد يكون كفر.
Then perhaps it could be an act of kufr.
فالمسألة الآن إذا أنتم تجدون يعني لباس يختص بغير المسلمين أخبروني كمثال.
So Shaykh said, if you know of any that is specific to the non-Muslim, then let him know.
حتى الساعة كانوا يقولون نلبسها في اليمين نخالف فيها غير المسلمين.
So even concerning we have to watch, I don't wear watch, that we have to watch which hand they, if we wear it, which hand they wear it on? The left hand. That
نلبسها في اليمين.
that be opposite them by wearing it for the Muslim to wear it on the right hand.
وأكثر المسلمين في بلاد الإسلام يلبسونها في اليسار.
But if I'm majority of the Muslim in the land of the Muslim that they wear their watches on their left hand.
فأنت تخالف المسلمين في بلادك، لا تخالف غير المسلمين.
So even you're going against the Muslim
في بلاد المسلمين.
in the land of the Muslims.
ووجدت كثير أيضا من غير المسلمين يرتدونها في اليمين الآن.
So you find that some of the Muslims they can somewhat adapt wearing it on the right.
هذا هو يعني خلاصة يعني الكلام في المسألة أحكام المعايشة في بلاد الغرب. وإن شاء الله متى كم بقى على الصلاة؟
كم الوقت الآن؟ how much time remaining before الصلاة؟ how much؟ خلاص الآن؟ 5 دقائق بكي.
إن شاء الله بعد الصلاة نأخذ الأسئلة إن شاء الله.
So the Shaykh mentions as other Shaykh Hafidullah, he mentioned regarding concerning that these muhadarat, then this is the end regarding those matters that relate to the ahkam of living in the West, from what we have covered so far, and we'll take questions will be taken after the salat inshallah ta'ala.
لكن أهم ما يعني يهمنا في هذا الباب كامل.
So as for the more the highlights of this particular bab of this discussion,
أن نفرق بين ما يتعلق بالولاء والبراء وما لا يتعلق بالولاء والبراء.
So it's to distinguish what is attached to al-wala wal-bara and what is not attached to al-wala, like aid and like love and aid.
فحتى الصدقة على غير المسلم تجوز.
So even concerning giving charity to the non-Muslim is something which is permissible.
لكن الزكاة لا تصح.
But as for zakat, it is not permissible to give them zakat.
أما صدقة التطوع فتصح.
As for the general charity, then it is okay, it is permissible.
والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال وفي كل كبد رطبة أجر.
So the Prophet mentioned that for every ratba, there is an ajr, for every date is a reward.
فإذا كان نيتك لله تؤجر. إن كان نيتك لله فإنك تؤجر.
So if your intention in doing this is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will be rewarded.
وإن كان نيتك بهذه الصدقة تأليف قلب الإسلام فهذا يستحب.
And also if the person's intention is that you want to give this sadaqah, this charity to the non-Muslim, and it is done with the intention of for a person to open his heart to Islam, then even more so.
وأكثر غير المسلمين يا إخوان وجدتهم يدخلون الدعوة يدخلون إلى الإسلام من باب المعاملة الحسنة.
So you find that most of the non-Muslims who come into Islam, that they came into Islam based upon good relations with them, having good relation and with them.
خاصة إذا مثلا قدمت لهم خدمة أو مساعدة.
More so, for example, in those cases where a person was able to extend to them assistance and aid.
فهو لا يصدق أنك قدمتها مجانيا.
So they can somehow find it difficult that did you do it something without said that something is freely.
وأن الإسلام يأمر بحسن الخلق.
And that Islam, there's someone taking back that they believe that Islam encourage you that you should have good conduct and behavior.
ولذلك إذا دخل الأبناء الإسلام.
So you said when the youths enter into Islam,
غالبا ما تجد الأب والأم يدخلون الإسلام.
that you find that most cases their parents will enter into Islam later.
لأن الأبناء يبرون الأب والأم أكثر من فعلهم قبل الإسلام.
So you find that, for example, a child when they embrace Islam, then later on that their parents will come along and accept Islam, is because that child, when they enter Islam, they can somewhat put more effort regarding trying to be good towards their parents. So this opened the hearts of those parents.
وأعرف رجلا مسلم تزوج في نصرانية.
So I know the Shaykh said, he mentioned, I know a man who married a Christian lady.
فطلقها وكانت تريد أن تأخذ الولد.
And that he divorced her and wanted to take the child.
فأخذ الولد وهرب به إلى دولته.
So he took the child and run away.
ورب الولد.
And he was like looking after the child.
ولما صار عمر الولد تقريبا 18 و20 جاء يزور أمه.
So when the child became about 18, then went back to the mom to see the mom.
فلما جلست مع أمه أسبوع أو شهر تقريبا
So when the child now visited and stayed with the mother for around a few weeks,
قالت الحمد لله أن والدك أخذك. الحمد لله أن والدك قد أخذك وهرب بك.
so the response of the mother was that she was happy that your father took you and took you away.
لأني أراك تبرني وتقدرني وتحترمني.
Because this is the mom saying that I'm glad that your father, took you and took you away, because I find that when you come back, now that you have given more better relation, or you treat me much better. You treat me much better.
وربيتك أنا ما استطعت أن أربيك كما رباك والدك.
And if I was the one who can somewhat groom you and look after you, I would not have done a good job as that done by your father.
ولكن أيضا ينبغي الإنسان إذا دخل في الإسلام أن يصبر على والديه ولا يستعجل ويضجر منهم أنهم لم يسلموا.
So also a person when one enters Islam, not to be too hasty regarding the appearance, not to be hasty regarding the appearance and somewhat abandon them and the likes.
فيقطعهم.
And break relation.
وأعرف من كما ذكرت لك من أسلمت أمه بعد 20 سنة من دخول الإسلام.
That I know people that the mother came along 20 years after the child accepted Islam.
فالمعاملة تؤثر.
As how you treat them and deal with them, that will have its impact, its own impact.
وكثير من جيرانك قد يسلمون بحسن معاملتك.
So you might find some of your neighbors that they may accept Islam based upon your good relationship with them.
أو زملائك في العمل.
Or some of your work colleague.
إندونيسيا فيها 200 مليون مسلم.
So in the country of Indonesia that have over 200 million Muslim.
ودخلها الإسلام بسبب حسن معاملة بعض تجار الجزيرة.
So Islam entered into that region, entered into that country based upon those merchants who entered, that they dealt with the people in a very good way.
فالناس لا تريد إلا المعاملة الحسنة.
So they find the people in general, they want for you to treat them, want good treatment.
لكن من يشوه الإسلام هو يصد عن سبيل الله.
So those who can somewhat disdain Islam,
صد عن سبيل الله.
that they block the people from entering into Islam.
وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
So Shaykh, come to an end regarding the final chapter regarding these lessons regarding how to live in the West. So yesterday we took some matters regarding regarding as what we took yesterday. بالاختصار what we took yesterday. Shaykh Ana? So yesterday we took some. What was we going to do in our quick summaries? So yesterday we did some, which were one.
How to greet them in terms of should we give them salam?
So discuss something giving up the greetings. Aywa. Another.
The types of love.
The different types of love.
Congratulating.
Congratulating them. Anything else?
Steps of hijrah.
Matters regarding al-hijrah. Aywa. Jade. Aywa. طيب. So after concerning those matters, so Jazakallah khair, and for now we'll end and get prepared for Salat. Then after Salat we'll return, and any questions we'll take the questions. We'll take the questions after the Salat. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala.